Da 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 dee dum. Do you see what I see? Do you hear what I hear? A 1962 Christmas song written by Noel Regnay and Gloria Shane Baker sold 250,000 records that first Christmas season. The following year, it skyrocketed to fame with Bing Crosby's version was released. Do you hear what I hear contains the question, do you see what I see? The likelihood is awfully high that you don't. I was 2.5 years old in December of 1963. It's possible, though unlikely, that my body dysmorphia had already germinated. I know it was in full swing well before my 10th birthday. I have suffered from poor body image for half of a century, a feeling that I'm ugly at worst and unattractive at best. When I look in a mirror, I see fat and ugly, now old too. If you think that's harsh, try living it. My mother, a wonderful woman who placed great emphasis on self-care and tried hard not to look the half-generation older than my father that she was, emphasized staying trim. It was important to her that she be thin, and she regularly commented on the size of her 5 children. Luckily for 4 of us, we were relatively slender youths, my 2 sisters remaining reed-thin to this day as they aged gracefully into their mid and late 50s. And my older brother and I were smaller boned and more Gregory Peck shaped than eldest brother Steve with his Alec Baldwin physique. Side note, all 4 of my siblings earned high school letters through sport. I never did, and Steve was offered a partial scholarship to DePaul University because of his athleticism. My father, a big boned John Wayne of a man, college professor during my youth, would often comment, "There's no reason why someone should be heavier after 40 years of age than before." A highly ironic statement for a man whose weight increased by at least 20% shortly after reaching 20 years. I remember an occasion when I was 10, drinking orange juice and being oblivious, when Dad, his finger pointing accusingly, said to me, "That's what puts the butts on you." He encouraged me to take up jogging with him, something I may have done twice before Dad gave up on me and running. I was heavy until puberty's growth spurt hit, and then I was heroin addict thin, at least for 2 years. I reverted to my old endomorph physique and climbed to a squishy 170-pound weight where I remained until I began cycling at 19. My increase in activity helped me shed 17% of my body weight, and I could stand looking in a mirror, at least until the weight came back on and I achieved my first 200-plus pound personal record. Go team! I have strong memories of visiting my parents post getting married and having my mother say to me as a greeting, "Oh, you've gained weight." "Thanks, Mom. I hadn't noticed." I would yo-yo back and forth between a personally perceived as presentable 185 pounds, 84 kilograms, and a massive 205.93, a weight that was not super heavy, in fact, for a thin-boned, 74-inch, 185-centimeter tall man, but one that repulsed me nonetheless. Had I seen another man who looked exactly as I did at 6'1" and 205 pounds, I would not have thought twice about his weight. In fact, seldom do I think of the weight of others, but to look in a mirror is agony. Just before moving to Florida, where one can have fun in the sun all year and never grow fat, I dropped weight, exercising back to my fighting form of 185 pounds, 84 kilograms, though I did shed an inch, 2+ centimeters along the way. Aging is a bitch. The fun of the sun thing was not a good fit for me, and my fitness plummeted while my stockiness grew. Our move to FLA started a free-fall depression, and my weight quickly jumped to newfound heights and my newfound lows. Know what's sadder than a fit, middle-aged man with body dysmorphia? A fat, out-of-shape, depressed middle-aged man with body dysmorphia. I have flirted with the 220, 100-kilogram limit, but haven't quite crossed the threshold. We left Florida over a year ago, and I believe that my depression-fed weight gain is done, at least for now. My ever-loving goddess of a wife signed our younger son and us to race a half marathon in mid-May, and I am using that event as an impetus for weight loss and more physical activity. I cut way back on sweets, my Achilles heel, and shed about 4 pounds, 2 kilograms in 2 weeks. I'm hoping to be sub 200 pounds by mid-May, and in my dreams, I'm projecting my 2 pounds per week weight loss back to my 185 benchmark. A good goal, but probably more dream than scheme for my time period. Of course, my wife and I, have learned no lessons from this. She does an incredible job of taking care of herself and has a physique and physical strength women a third her age envy. Her self-care is great, but her older son, unlike our reedy fellow half-marathon second-born, has a body weight at least 25% too high. What do we do about it? Well, one of us bites his tongue, knowing just how harsh that lashing can feel, but the other, in an attempt to help her underactive offspring have a healthier, longer life, brings up his weight and exercise far too often. The goddess and I know the importance of self-care, which is good, but like my mother before me, we tend to have a lousy, ego-devastating presentation concerning food portions, activity, and body mass when discussing these vital to vitality and longevity health benchmarks. Parents, you can't enter the world without them, and you can't make it through life without bearing a few scars from their well-intentioned misdeeds. Take care of and love yourselves and try to see the truth. Do, 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 do.